The struggles of regaining land for the Havasupai is a case in which America has not identified as a true effort for what was sacred and inherited, but a case in which the land could be taken, then negotiated and exploited for its return. And in 1882, when President Chester Arthur issued an executive order that all land on the plateau of the canyon, which was traditionally used for winter homes for the tribe, was to become public property of the United States. The order in effect delegated the Havasupai to a 518-acre plot of land in Cataract Canyon, leaving 90% of their aboriginal land for American public use. The Havasupai had no say in this order. The 1800s brought the Continental Railway system. This American supergiant opened on a spur line of the Santa Fe Railroad, which was to lead directly to the Grand Canyon. The loss of almost all of their land was not the only issue that the Havasupai were contending with. The increase in settlers in the local region had depleted game used for hunting and eroded soil as a result of poor irrigation techniques. Interaction with these outsiders sparked a deadly disease outbreak amongst the tribe members who were ravaged by smallpox, influenza, and the measles. By 1903, their home was to be turned into a public park for all American citizens to visit and admire. By 1906, only 166 tribe members remained. In 1908, the Grand Canyon was declared a national monument, and by 1919 it had received national park status. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1924 proclaimed, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that all non-citizen Indians born within the territorial limits of the United States be, and they are hereby, declared to be citizens of the United States, provided that the granting of such citizenship shall not in any manner impair or otherwise affect the right of any Indian to tribal or other property. Approved June 2nd, 1924. The 1924 Indian Citizenship Act meant that not all Native Americans viewed citizenship as something wonderful. Their experiences in dealing with Washington and the states did not give them much confidence in the government or desire to participate in it. Some tribes feared that they would have to give up their own sovereignty and the federal government would deny its treaties obligations. In the words of one Native American, United States citizenship was just another way of absorbing us and destroying our customs and our government. How could these Europeans come over and tell us we were citizens in our country? We had our own citizenship. By its provisions, all Indians were automatically made United States citizens whether they wanted to be so or not. This was a violation of our sovereignty. Our citizenship was in our nations. By the time that the 1924 Citizenship Act was passed, 2/3 of all Indians had already gained citizenship. And while all Native Americans were now citizens, not all states were prepared to allow them to vote. Western states in particular engaged in all sorts of legal ruses to deny Indians the ballot. And the policies of the federal government towards American Indians continued to change and evolve. The tribe continually fought from the 1920s until the late 1960s with the government to have the land that had been taken returned to them. In 1968, the tribe won their Indian Claim Commission case against the United States. The court findings stated that the Havasupai had portions of their land taken from them illegally in 1882, and that the tribe was entitled to recover the land from the U.S. at fair market value, which was 55 cents per acre, equaling $100 million. By the time that the 1924 Citizenship Act was passed, 2/3 of all Indians had already gained citizenship. And while all Native Americans were now citizens, not all states were prepared to allow them to vote. Western states in particular engaged in all sorts of legal ruses to deny Indians the ballot. And the policies of the federal government towards American Indians continued to change and evolve. The struggles of regaining land for the Havasupai are a case in which America has not identified as a true effort. We can recognize that the land has been sacred for their entire heritage, and that while the negotiations in place have done okay for America's national park economy, it should be considered to have returned to its ancestors' descendants.